The annual Children's Hospital Charity Gala sparkled under crystal chandeliers. Society's elite gathered to see and be seen. Reina swept through the entrance, her emerald gown shimmering. Behind her, Ryota followed in a slightly wrinkled suit. Without warning, Reina snatched a silver tray from a passing waiter and thrust it into Ryota's chest.
Oh, Ryota, darling, just blend in tonight. That wrinkled suit is embarrassing. Be a dear and help out.
Ryota said nothing. He simply took the tray, the champagne flutes clinking softly.
Ladies, this is my brother. He's just extra catering staff tonight. Isn't he helpful?
How resourceful. A family that pitches in together. Charming.
I wish my relatives were so obedient. Cheers to the help.
The group laughed, their amusement echoing off the marble. Ryota remained still, his face giving away nothing. And so, the gala began with Ryota cast as the hired help, a role his sister had scripted years ago. Ryota moved through the glittering crowd, tray balanced expertly. He offered champagne to a middle-aged couple who barely glanced at him. Across the room, Reina had gathered her clique. Her voice carried sharp, practiced, impossible to ignore.
Haruto's company just landed the Kansai distribution deal. 300 new accounts in 1 quarter. Reina, you two are unstoppable. I don't know how you manage such a perfect life. It's about breeding, darling. Our family has always understood strategy.
Speaking of family, your brother? Is he really just helping out tonight?
Oh, Ryota? He's a sweetheart, but no ambition. It's kinder to keep him busy.
Ryota heard every word. His knuckles whitened on the tray's handle, the only crack in his calm.
She's erased me a dozen times before. Tonight is just a louder version.
He turned away, handing a glass to another guest. Behind him, their laughter crested a sound he knew too well. New guests drifted toward Reina's orbit, drawn by her laughter and the sparkle of her ruby necklace.
Welcome, welcome. Have you met my brother? He's graciously helping the caterers tonight.
Ryota approached with fresh champagne, his movements precise. The clink of glass preceded him.
Oh, Reina, he's wonderfully obedient. Where can I hire one like him?
Family discount. He works for gratitude. Isn't that right, Ryota?
Smile. Nod. Don't let her see it cuts.
He handed glasses around without a word, the perfect servant. The guests accepted him as if he were furniture.
You know, Reina, I almost feel sorry for him. Almost.
Ryota's eyes lifted for a moment, meeting nothing. A storm hid behind the stillness. Then he turned back to the work, the tray a shield, the laughter a wall. In a quiet corner, far from Reina's clique, Ryota paused to gather empty glasses. For a suspended second, the ballroom sounds faded. His gaze dropped to his phone's lock screen, a photo of a little girl with a gap-toothed smile. The clink of crystal warped into the steady beep of a heart monitor. Chandeliers dissolved into harsh fluorescent light. A small, pale hand lay motionless on white sheets, an IV line taped to its wrist.
I promised I'd be there every single day, and I kept that promise.
Ryota blinked hard, and the ballroom surged back with a wave of violins and polite laughter. His jaw tightened, a muscle flickering beneath the skin. The tray trembled in his grip.
2 years, and it still feels like yesterday.
He forced his hands to relax, breathing out slowly. The smooth, unreadable mask returned. But behind that mask, the memory smoldered, a secret heavier than any tray of champagne. The chime of a spoon against crystal silenced the room. Every head turned toward the stage.
Good evening, cherished guests. Tonight isn't just about champagne and music, it's about hope.
A murmur rippled through the crowd. Reina, near the front, raised an eyebrow, suddenly alert.
Thanks to one extraordinary gift, our hospital is opening a new pediatric oncology wing. And tonight, for the first time, that donor has agreed to be recognized.
Behind her clutch, Reina whispered to Satsuki and Emi, her voice a silk-wrapped blade.
If the donor's here, we greet them first. This is opportunity on a silver platter. You think it's someone we know, Reina? Darling, at these events, every unknown is a potential ally. Smile and stay close.
Reina's eyes sparkled with a familiar hunger. Tonight, she intended to be seen beside the hero. Reina leaned into her circle, voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush that drew every ear.
A pediatric wing costs millions. The donor is obviously a major player, likely someone from Haruto's business orbit. People in our circles prefer privacy. That's why the donor stayed anonymous. Modesty, not secrecy.
You're always 2 steps ahead, Reina. Do you have a guess who it might be?
I have a short list. Let's just say, if it's who I think, I've already had tea with them twice.
Across the room, Ryota heard the fabrication through the clatter of trays and laughter.
Tea with them twice, and yet she never once sat beside her own daughter's hospital bed.
A faint, ironic smile touched his lips, a ghost of a reaction that vanished as quickly as it came.
Reina, you must introduce us later. We'll follow your lead, as always.
Reina absorbed the admiration, blissfully unaware that the real donor was filling her friend's champagne glasses. Haruto arrived late, his tailored suit a shade rumpled from the drive. He scanned the glittering room for a flash of emerald.
Haruto, darling, you made it? Come, the night is just beginning.
He leaned down to kiss her cheek, then froze. Beyond her shoulder, a familiar figure held a tray of champagne.
Reina, is that Ryota? Why is he working as a waiter?
Oh, he insisted on helping the caterers. You know how he loves to be useful. Smile and don't make a scene.
Help out? She's barely spoken to him in years. This is wrong.
Now come meet the Takedes. They're dying to discuss the new distribution deal. Ryota will be fine.
Haruto allowed himself to be led, but his gaze cut sideways to Ryota. The tray hadn't wavered.
He knows I see him. So why won't he look at me?
With practiced ease, Haruto pulled on a diplomat's smile and turned toward the chattering socialites. But the question stayed, a splinter under the skin. Haruto edged toward Ryota, but Reina's hand found his sleeve. Her grip was a directive, not a request.
Haruto, stay close. You haven't even met the Takagis yet, and I need you presentable. Your brother-in-law makes a natural server, Haruto. So attentive. Must run in the family.
Natural server. He has a PhD. But if I say that now, she'll never forgive me.
Some people are just born for service. I find it rather sweet, actually.
Ryota caught Haruto's eye. A small, deliberate nod. An unspoken bearer of no hard feelings.
Even now, he's absolving me. That's worse than anger.
Come, darling. The Takagis are waving. Smile and remember, tonight is about the donor. We're so lucky Reina manages everything. You'd be lost without her, Haruto.
Haruto let himself be pulled, but the splinter had become a grief he couldn't swallow. Reina's hold on him tightened with every forced smile. The host's voice cut across the chatter. Dr. Eiko Fujimoto, the children's hospital chief oncologist, had arrived. Every head turned toward the entrance. Reina's eyes lit with predatory glee. This was the woman who would stand beside the donor. She glided forward without a second's hesitation.
Dr. Aiko, I'm Reina Tanaka. I've followed your work for years. Truly, you're an angel in white.
You're too kind, Mrs. Tanaka. It's a team effort. The nurses, the researchers, the generous donors.
Dr. Aiko's eyes wandered past Reina's shoulder, scanning the glittering crowd with a gentle but unmistakable urgency.
Are you looking for someone, Doctor? I know almost everyone here. I'd be happy to help.
Just an old friend. Someone I hoped would be here tonight.
Reina's smile tightened. She did not like being the second priority in any conversation.
The donor announcement will start soon. I'm sure your friend will appear.
Dr. Aiko nodded absently, her gaze still moving. Somewhere in this room, the truth was hiding in plain sight. Reina pressed closer, undeterred. She mentioned Haruto's company as if it were a key to every locked door.
My husband's distribution network covers all of Kansai. We could arrange a corporate sponsorship if the hospital needs it.
That's generous. But tonight belongs to the anonymous donor. Their story deserves the full spotlight.
Of course. And will you be introducing the donor yourself, Doctor?
Yes, and I promise you'll understand why when you hear it.
Across the room, Ryota lifted his tray from the service station, and then he saw the familiar white coat. His hands faltered, a flute wobbled, champagne lapping at the crystal rim.
Dr. Aiko. She said she'd come, but I didn't believe it. Not here. Not tonight.
He steadied the tray, but the wall between his two lives was thinning. The truth circled closer with every passing second. Reina, oblivious, kept shaping her web. Dr. Aiko's eyes swept the crowd once more, still searching. Dr. Aiko's searching gaze stopped. Across the ballroom, a man in an apron held a tray, and she knew him. For a heartbeat, their eyes met. Ryota gave the smallest shake of his head. Dr. Aiko pressed her lips together.
Mrs. Tanaka, please excuse me. There's someone I must greet.
Doctor, where are you going?
To see someone I've been hoping to find all evening.
Reina's smile froze. The doctor wasn't being coy, she was utterly absorbed by a target. Dr. Aiko cut through the partygoers, her white coat a sail among the dark suits, heading straight for the service station.
She's really doing it. I should have told her not to come.
Reina watched her go, the emerald gown suddenly feeling heavier. Something was off, and she didn't like not knowing what. Across the floor, Ryota stood frozen, tray in hand, as Dr. Aiko closed the distance. The truth was walking straight toward him. As Dr. Aiko drew closer, the ballroom melted away. Ryota slid into a memory as vividly as stepping through a door.
Mr. Tanaka, the clinical trial is our last option, but the cost is beyond what most families can bear.
Tell me the figure. Whatever it is, I'll cover it. Completely.
That's generous, but the family should know. Your sister, the girl's parents.
No. It's better if they don't know it's me. They have enough weight. I'll be the silent one.
In that decision lived the memory of a small hand in his, a promise whispered to a sleeping child who would never know the price.
Every invoice comes to me, anonymously. No one else sees a single number.
You understand this means no thank yous, no recognition, just a silent gift.
Ryota blinked. The ballroom snapped back, chandeliers and chatter. Dr. Aiko was now 3 steps away. The tray in his hands had not changed, but the weight behind it was no longer just champagne. The 3 steps vanished. Dr. Aiko stood before Ryota, her smile carrying the warmth of 2 years of silence.
Ryota, you came. I was so hoping you would.
Dr. Aiko, please, not here. Not yet.
Before the doctor could reply, the click of heels cut between them. Reina had followed, and her smile was a blade.
Dr. Aiko, what are you doing speaking with the serving staff? Are you lost? You, Ryota. Your place is with the tray. Stop bothering important people.
Dr. Aiko's expression hardened. The gentle oncologist became a woman who had fought death and won.
Mrs. Tanaka, this man is not bothering me. I suggest you reconsider your tone.
She's about to light the fuse, and I'm holding the match.
Reina's smile curdled. The air around them grew thin, charged with a truth that would not stay buried much longer.
Mrs. Tanaka, your brother is a valued supporter of this hospital. That is why I sought him out.
Valued. That's laughable. He barely has a real job, Doctor. He's just helping out tonight.
Dr. Aiko's gaze didn't waver. The silence that followed was heavier than any retort.
I think you underestimate your own brother, Mrs. Tanaka. Deeply.
Reina's practiced smile cracked at the edges. For the first time tonight, she had no quick reply.
If you'll excuse me, the guests need fresh champagne.
He bowed slightly and stepped back, the tray once again a shield between him and the storm. Reina stood motionless, the ruby necklace suddenly cold against her skin. The Gala's noise receded into a distant hum.
That man has done more for this hospital than anyone in this room. Remember that?
What does she see in him that I don't?
Reina's heels clicked a determined path toward the service station. Ryota stood with his back turned, oblivious to the storm about to hit.
Ryota, we need to talk now.
She yanked him into a shadowed alcove near the kitchen doors. her grip iron around his elbow.
Don't ever speak to Dr. Aiko again, or anyone important. When we leave, you can vanish back to whatever hole you crawled out of. If you embarrass me one more time, I'll tell security you're harassing the guests. They'll throw you out before you can blink.
Ryota met her stare without flinching. The tray in his hands remained perfectly level, champagne glowing under the dim light.
Just keep your head down until we leave. Smile, serve, and disappear. That's all you're good for.
She released his arm and smoothed her gown, the mask of serenity sliding back into place.
2 more hours. I've survived 20 years. 2 more hours is nothing.
He watched her retreat, the emerald gown sweeping back into the glittering crowd. Her threat hung in the air like cheap perfume. The service corridor swallowed him whole. Ryota leaned against the cold wall, the tray finally trembling in his grip. Behind his closed eyelids, the image bloomed, a little girl in a hospital bed, her smile fragile, her small hand reaching for a drawing.
She never knew I was there every single week. Not once.
He could still hear the sterile beep of monitors, the hushed footsteps of nurses who became his only company. His phone screen lit up, the same gap-toothed grin, frozen in time. That photo was from the day she finished her last treatment.
She survived, and Reina never even called to ask how.
A memory sliced through Reina's voice on the phone 2 years ago, dismissive and impatient.
I can't come to the hospital today. There's a business dinner. You handle it, Ryota. You're the one with all that free time.
Ryota opened his eyes. The tremor in his hands steadied. The old anger didn't leave, but it hardened into something colder.
You were too proud to visit your own daughter. Tonight, everyone will know.
Dinner was served with a clatter of silver and porcelain. The golden lights dimmed slightly, a signal that the main event was near.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you finish dessert, keep your champagne close. After the plates are cleared, we will unveil the anonymous donor who made the new pediatric wing possible.
At the front table, Reina's eyes gleamed. She turned to Haruto with the confidence of a woman who believed she already owned the room.
It has to be the chairman of Mirai Pharma. I heard his granddaughter was treated at this hospital. A personal connection, that's how these things work.
Reina, maybe we shouldn't speculate. We don't know who it is.
Nonsense. When his name is called, we'll be the first to congratulate him. It's good for our image. Smile, Haruto.
Haruto's forced smile was a mask of its own. Across the room, Ryota had returned from the corridor, tray in hand, watching. Ryota's hand tightened on the tray's edge. The countdown had begun, and his sister was still writing lines for a script that no longer existed.
I've already prepared a toast. We'll raise a glass like we're old friends.
You'll raise a glass, all right, but not the one you think.
As servers cleared the dessert plates, Dr. Ayako appeared at Ryota's elbow. Her smile was gone, replaced by quiet urgency.
Ryota, please. In a few minutes, they'll call the donor. Let them see you. Let them see what real generosity looks like.
I didn't do this for recognition. I did it because she was dying and no one else was paying attention.
The family, your niece's mother, she needs to understand the truth. She needs to know who saved her daughter.
They don't need to know it was me. Knowing might hurt them more. It's enough that she's alive.
He shook his head slowly, the refusal carved from years of silent sacrifice. The tray in his hand did not tremble.
Then why did you come tonight? If not to be seen, why step into this room?
Because she invited me, and I wanted to see her face when the truth lands.
Dr. Aiko looked at him with a painful blend of admiration and sorrow. 2 years of secrets weighing on them both.
The host is about to call you, Ryota. I won't push, but know that the truth is already on its way.
The click of heels was a war drum. Reina descended on them, her face twisted in practiced outrage.
I warned you. I told you to stop bothering Dr. Aiko. Do you have any idea how embarrassing this is?
Heads turned. The music seemed to hush. Reina raised her voice, drawing an audience like a performer on her chosen stage.
Everyone, forgive the interruption. This is my brother. He's a little challenged. He doesn't quite understand social norms.
A ripple of nervous laughter swept through the crowd. Satsuki and Emi exchanged delighted glances.
That is completely false. He is.
Ryota's hand closed gently around Dr. Aiko's wrist. A plea and a command in one wordless touch.
You see? He knows his place. Now someone get him a fresh tray. The champagne won't pour itself.
Ryota's face remained serene, but his eyes held a storm. The room was watching. The truth, he knew, would speak soon enough. Haruto pushed back his chair and stood, his face a clash of shame and alarm. He reached for Reina's arm.
Reina, stop. This has gone far enough. People are watching. Come sit down.
I don't care who's watching. He's a nuisance and a liar. Security. Someone call security.
A microphone shrieked, cutting through the chaos. The host stood frozen for a moment, then pressed on.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The moment we've been waiting for is here. Please welcome Dr. Aiko Fujimoto, who will introduce the anonymous donor who made the new pediatric wing possible.
Reina's hand, raised to summon security, hovered in midair. Her mouth opened, but no sound came.
There it is. The clock has struck.
Dr. Aiko took the stage, her white coat a beacon under the light. She looked directly at Ryota. Haruto grabbed Reina's arm, his voice a broken whisper. Reina, something's happening. But she couldn't move. The microphone trembled in Dr. Aiko's hand, but her voice came steady, a scalpel aimed at the heart of the room.
This year's pediatric wing wasn't built by a corporation or a foundation. It was built by a single, quiet act of love. A love that paid for every treatment, every medication, every hope for a little girl who was dying. Because of him, our anonymous donor, my own niece, is alive today.
Her niece? What does that have to do with us?
Ryota's face softened, a private grief finding room to breathe after years in the dark.
He asked for nothing. No plaque, no gratitude. He simply saved a child and walked away. And tonight, that donor is sitting among you.
Reina frowned. The story stirred something, a distant echo, but the full picture eluded her. Dr. Aiko's voice grew intimate, each word driving a nail deeper. The ballroom held its breath.
2 years ago, a little girl was dying from leukemia. Her family couldn't afford the clinical trial that might save her. Then a stranger stepped forward. He paid for every treatment, every hospital fee, every sliver of hope. Anonymously.
Reina's hands began to tremble. Her clutch slipped from numb fingers and hit the marble floor with a soft thud.
Reina, she's talking about, that's our...
No, it can't be. It's a coincidence. It has to be.
That little girl calls me Aunt Aiko. And the man who saved her is here tonight.
Ryota watched Reina's face drain of color. The emerald gown seemed to shrink around her. Dr. Aiko's gaze swept over the front table, pausing on Reina as though she could see straight through the silk.
You're lying. This is some kind of mistake. It can't be him. It can't.
And yet, not everyone who should have been at that little girl's bedside showed up. Some were too busy, with galas.
Reina's skin went clammy. Sweat beaded beneath her perfect hair, a dark trickle of mascara escaping her left eye. The crowd's murmur shifted from shock to something colder. Eyes that once admired her now measured her like a stranger. Haruto couldn't lift his gaze from the floor. His shoulders slumped, a man carrying a guilt he had not yet named.
This is slander. My daughter is my entire world. How dare you stand up there and imply otherwise?
Is that so, Mrs. Tanaka? When was the last time you sat beside her hospital bed? A month? A year? Ever?
There were business obligations, sponsors. My husband's career depends on...
No one finished her sentence for her. Even Satsuki and Emi had drawn back, their champagne flutes uncertain in their hands.
The donor never missed a single treatment. Not one. He held her hand when her own mother couldn't find the time.
The silence that followed Dr. Aiko's words was absolute. And then Reina laughed, a shrill, cracking sound.
You think that's supposed to be me? You think I'm the monster?
She spun toward Ryota, her eyes wild. The tray was still in his hands, a silent witness.
This is all your fault. You've always been jealous. You wanted to ruin me.
Her hand shot forward, snatching the champagne glass from his tray. The room gasped.
Look at what you've made me do. Look at this mess.
The golden liquid arced, splashing across his white shirt. A dark bloom spread over his chest. Ryota didn't flinch. The champagne dripped from his chin, but his eyes for the first time held no shadow.
Get out! You're a waiter, nothing more. Go back to your tray.
The ballroom was frozen. Haruto covered his mouth. Dr. Aiko stepped forward, but Ryota raised a steady hand. Slowly, Ryota placed the half-empty tray on the nearest table. The clink of glass was the only sound in the room. He reached behind his back and untied the apron. The strings fell loose, and he folded the fabric with deliberate care. The apron, the last piece of the night's costume, was laid aside. He straightened his champagne-stained shirt. He lifted his gaze to Dr. Aiko on the stage. Then he nodded once, with a clarity that needed no words. On the stage, Dr. Aiko pressed a trembling hand to her lips. Tears slid down her cheeks, but her eyes were radiant.
What are you doing? Stop this nonsense.
Ryota didn't answer. He simply turned and began walking toward the stage, each step steady and unhurried. Dr. Aiko extended a hand toward him, her voice catching. The host, stunned, stepped aside. Reina stumbled forward, but Haruto caught her arm. "Reina, don't," he whispered, but she shook him off, eyes wild. The host recovered, lifting her card with a trembling hand. The room's silence was a held breath.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor to present to you the anonymous donor, Mr. Ryota Tanaka.
A spotlight sliced through the darkness, swinging wildly before finding its mark. Ryota stood bathed in white light, the champagne stain on his shirt a strange badge of honor. His face was serene.
No, that's impossible.
Reina's legs buckled. Haruto caught her, but his own face was a mask of shock and dawning shame. Gasps rippled outward. Satsuki's champagne flute slipped from her fingers and shattered on the marble. Without hurry, Ryota walked. The path parted, a sea of stunned faces turning to watch the waiter become the benefactor. On stage, Dr. Aiko's shoulders shook with silent sobs. She extended both hands toward him. The anonymous donor was anonymous no more, and every eye in the room understood. They had witnessed arrogance be eclipsed by grace. His footsteps echoed on the marble, each one a quiet defiance of the role he had been forced to wear. The glittering crowd parted like a sea, faces frozen between awe and disbelief. No one dared speak.
But he was just a waiter. That's not possible.
We laughed at him, right to his face, oh God.
Reina's body gave out. She collapsed backward into her chair, the emerald gown crumpling around her like a wilted leaf. Haruto's hand rose to cover his mouth, his eyes fixed on Ryota's back. The apology he owed was years too late. Ryota climbed the short steps to the stage, his spine straight. The host silently handed him the microphone. He stood beside Dr. Aiko, her tears reflecting the spotlight. She whispered, "Thank you. Too low for the microphone." Then he turned to face the sea of shaken faces. The waiter was gone. Only the man who had saved 400 children remained.
I'm not good with speeches, but tonight isn't about me. It's about the children who fight battles we can't see.
He spoke of quiet hours in a lab, compounds tested 1,000 times, the slow pursuit of a cure no one applauds.
My real reward isn't a plaque. It's knowing a certain little girl can run again, that she can laugh.
He paused, letting the silence thicken. Then his gaze found Reina in the crowd.
2 years ago, a little girl was given months to live. I couldn't accept that, so I paid for every treatment, every drug.
Reina's fingers dug into the armrest of her chair. The emerald gown suddenly seemed a cage.
That little girl calls me uncle, and she calls Reina mother, my sister's daughter, my niece.
A collective gasp tore through the ballroom. Haruto's face crumpled, tears streaming into his hand.
I never wanted thanks. I only wanted her to live, and she did. That was enough.
Reina sat frozen, a statue of shame. In a single speech, her brother had given life and taken everything she pretended to own.
I remember him falling asleep in a plastic hospital chair, still holding her hand. The nurses thought he was her father. That same night, Mrs. Tanaka, you were at a fashion show. Front row, smiling for cameras.
A strangled sob tore from Reina's throat, raw, unguarded, the sound of a fortress collapsing inward. Haruto buried his face in his hands. His shoulders shook, but no sound came.
He never asked for a single thank you. He only asked how she was doing. Every single day.
Around the room, guests averted their eyes. The air grew thick with secondhand shame.
What have we done?
Reina's perfect world had ended. The lies she'd built for decades lay in ashes at her feet. Ryota stood still on stage, the silence his answer. He had not needed to accuse. The truth had done it for him.
This isn't about blame. It's about love, the quiet, stubborn love that refuses to give up. So let's raise a glass to all the children still fighting. They are the real heroes.
The ballroom erupted. Applause thundered, and more than a few guests were wiping tears. Dr. Aiko crossed the distance in 2 steps and wrapped her arms around him. No words were needed. When they parted, Ryota gave a small bow to the crowd, humble, unhurried, utterly at peace. Then he descended the stage steps. The sea of guests parted, their whispers a mix of awe and shame. His calm stride carried him past the people who had cheered, past the ones who had laughed. He stopped at the table where his tray still waited, the apron folded beside it. For a moment, he simply looked at it. The symbol of his humiliation had become the instrument of his grace. He picked up the tray. His eyes lifted toward the front table where a crumpled emerald gown sat frozen. From the tray, he took the champagne bottle with deliberate care. He poured a single flute, the golden stream steady and sure. He set the bottle down and picked up the glass. The tray stood behind him, mission complete. He walked the length of the silent ballroom, the lone glass catching the light. No one dared to look away. He stopped before the crumpled emerald gown. Reina's breath came in shallow, uneven gasps.
Tonight, I'm still the help. This one's for you, sister.
Reina stared at the flute as if it were a live coal. Her hands lay limp in her lap, trembling. The champagne bubbled softly, the only sound in the vast room. Mascara streaked her cheeks. He held the glass steady, his hand unwavering. An invitation, not a command. Slowly, with the weight of 20 years, her fingers began to rise. Her trembling fingers closed around the delicate stem. The glass, so small, seemed to weigh more than the tray had all night. Ryota released his hold. The full burden of champagne, of shame, of 20 years settled into her grasp. Reina lifted her eyes to his face. Tears carved clean tracks through the ruined mask of her makeup.
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Ryota only smiled, a gentle, sad curve that held no triumph, only a love too stubborn to die. She brought the flute to her lips. The champagne trembled against her teeth, a baptism she could not refuse. She drank. The golden bubbles mixed with salt, a holy communion of grief and grace. The glass emptied, but she clung to it, her knuckles white, as if it were the only solid thing left in her world. Ryota waited, patient as stone, until her sobs began to quiet. The room around them was a held breath. Then he bowed his head slightly, a silent recognition of her pain, not an absolution. The night had changed everything. Haruto finally moved. He walked toward the shattered tableau, each step heavy with the weight of unspoken failure.
Ryota, we owe you an apology. We owe you everything.
It's late. We can talk another time. Just take care of her.
Haruto nodded, a tear slipping down his cheek. He bent and gently lifted his wife to her feet, his arm her only anchor. Reina leaned into him, her face buried against his shoulder. The empty champagne flute dropped to the floor but didn't break.
Wait.
Ryota turned away. The sea of guests parted silently, their faces a canvas of shame and awe. Reina's outstretched hand trembled in the empty air. He did not look back. The ballroom doors swung closed behind him. The gala was over, but the reckoning had only just begun. Morning light filtered through cold apartment windows. The silence was heavier than any echo from the gala. Reina sat curled on the sofa, an old photo album open across her lap. Her gown was gone, replaced by simple cotton. A faded photograph stared up at her, 2 children, a boy and a girl, grinning with their arms around each other.
When did I become the villain in our story?
With trembling fingers, she picked up her phone. The screen glowed with his name, no photo, just Ryota. She pressed dial before courage could fail her. Each ring was a heartbeat. In his quiet home office, Ryota watched the caller ID flash. He let it ring twice, gathering himself.
Hello.
The silence on the line was broken only by a raw, heaving sob. Reina couldn't speak. The tears had stolen her words. Ryota closed his eyes, a single tear escaping. He waited, patient as he had always been.
All my life, I was so jealous of you because you were always better. Kinder, stronger. I hated you for it.
The words tumbled out, raw and unpolished, the first honest ones she'd spoken to him in 20 years.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For everything. For tonight. For all of it.
Thank you, Reina. That's all I ever wanted to hear.
He hung up the phone with a soft click, a faint smile settling on his lips. The camera pulled away from him, drifting through the morning light to another place, another time. The ballroom stood empty, chairs stacked, chandeliers dim. All that remained was the echo of what had happened. On a marble table, a single champagne flute rested, the faintest trace of lipstick still visible on its rim. A quiet witness to the night when the hired help had poured the most expensive champagne of all.